at what point did you realize that, okay, I need to get external funding? And how did you go about that? Where did you look? Do you already have connections, or how did it play out?
Yeah, so I actually, during that time, I received a DM from a community that I'm still part of to this day. They're called Babes on Waves, and they are for people of color. And it's just a community to help grow our business or whatever we're working on. And they're just the most amazing community I've just been part of. So that's kind of how I got introduced to grants. So people in the community would post about, these grants, and it was so new to me. And someone posted about an accelerator for Lloyds Bank, which was Foundervine, and that was one of the first accelerators that they ever did. So I was on one of the accelerators, and we had loads of talks from like Andy, Yvonne, like these are like investors in like the tech space. They came and did talks and stuff, and
so were those investors a part of the Lloyds Accelerator?
Yeah, so they did come and do like talks about like how to land investors, and also kind of how to like seek additional funding. So we did have like other talks about like grants, and that's kind of when I started to learn more about it. I was still kind of understanding the investor landscape, so that wasn't really at the time appropriate for me because I was still so early. So I thought grants would probably be perfect. So yeah, that's kind of how I heard about grants. And so yeah, when I was on Babes on Waves, like the community would post a lot about these grants, and I applied to some, and some of them, honestly, I didn't even know what I was writing. I'm not even joking. I was writing, and this is pre-ChatGPT. I wish it existed back then. I was writing what felt right, I answered the questions, what I was, whatever questions they needed. Sometimes you have to record videos as well for a lot of grant competitions. That's the basis, I would say, for all of them. And basically, I had to do that. And I won 5 grants.
So you're saying for the grants, the application process usually is like you're writing a personal statement about yourself and your business, and then you're doing videos. So it's essentially a competition for free money, as they say.
It basically is. So every grant works differently. The questions they ask are phrased differently. So it differs. But I would say every grant competition I've entered, the same questions are usually the same. So I would literally just copy and paste what I've written for the same one and maybe like adjust some questions. Sometimes they'll ask you, how do you want to spend the money? Why do you need the money? How does this align with the grant? So those are the sort of questions they would ask. And then they would ask you to record a video to kind of explain, why you deserve this funding in like a minute or 2 minutes. That's usually how they work. Now I applied for one of them. And this was my first grant I applied for, and I won £5,000 for this one. And this was amazing because I just, like I said, I'd never heard of grants. I was so shocked that I was receiving money basically from someone who believed in my idea, in my brand, in my company. And it was just so surreal. I had funding to do so much. I had money to buy stock. I had money to do my branding. I had money to do my website, to optimize my website, gain new customers. And it was just, 5,000 can get you to a good place, I think.
Okay.
It's a massive starting point to get somewhere.
No, yeah. Definitely. And did they say what made you win or what stood out, or do you know what made them choose you? Because I'm assuming, do you know obviously you do know. Do you want to say what the grant program was?
So I haven't seen this grant come up ever again.
Okay.
So there's a tanning brand. I need to remember the name. I can't remember the name. But it's owned by Lottie Tomlinson. So Louis Tomlinson's sister from One Direction. Okay. And she has a tanning company, and they were basically doing a grant for anyone. It was literally for anyone if you wanted to start afresh with your life, if you literally want to start a new business, like it could be anything. Like
in any sector.
literally anything. So I was like,
Oh,
oh, this is amazing. Like she's really giving everyone, and it was, I think, 10 winners in that. So we all got on a phone call and they were like, listen, you've won the grant. And, we all believe in we believe in your idea, your concept. And, she specifically, said like, I really love what you're doing in the period space. Like there's not a lot of enough attention in that sector. And, you're doing amazing work. So that's kind of why we selected you. And I guess it's something sometimes a lot of grant winners are dealing with problems that is, that's currently being faced in the world today. And I think if it's a real problem, you will win the grant. But even like with Beame, I know I'm serving a real problem due to like skin cancer rates, increasing in the UK. And if I can help reduce that problem through my product, it's actually serving a problem, a need. So I guess it's just tying back to like, is it actually a problem? And that's even just for starting any business. Like, is it actually a problem? Do we need does your customers really need the product? You need to kind of think about that. So I guess that's how you do win a grant, by tackling the actual problem and in the world today.
So you stand out. Yeah, no, definitely. So for Bloodbox and for Beam, separately, how much money have you raised, whether that's grants or any type of, venture capital funding?
So I've received in total for Bloodbox and Beam £20,000. And I've also gotten like an investment offer from one of the companies that I work with now. And that was around £50,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I know for Bloodbox, that was because it tied into kind of what they were focusing on around the menstrual cycle health. So I guess if it focuses on that portfolio of what they're looking for, then yeah, it made sense. And that really came from an accelerator I did. I did loads of accelerators. So I urge anyone who's listening to do so many accelerators as much as you can to learn, meet people, network. And it just happened that when I was on the phone, like pitching for my accelerator at the end of the program, the company who owns Tenor and Bodyform, they were on the pitch there and they were like, listen, we want to invest. Like we love Bloodbox and it's what we want, we really want to do, invest in a company like Bloodbox. So that's basically how, that came about. And it's all through, I feel like I wouldn't have met these people. I don't know where I would have met them if I wasn't on these accelerators, truthfully, if I'm honest.
Definitely. So for that 50K for Bloodbox, so during that pitch, the people from Ten and Bodyform, or investors from Ten and Bodyform were there. Was that the group? So I'm so glad that you're still here and enjoying this episode of Hear the Hustle. If you're getting value from it, please do like and subscribe, because then that helps me make more content like this and speak to more inspiring founders to hear their stories about how they fund their businesses, sometimes, most of the time, from nothing. So like, subscribe. And if it's not for you, then I'm sure some people, you can forward it to someone and it might help them.
It was deliberate because the accelerator I had joined invited loads of investors to come and watch, and it ties in with, they also have like a venture firm. So that's how it ties in, to what I was doing at that time with Bloodbox. So yeah, accelerators are probably the most thing that's helped me network, meet more people, learn about even new grants, and it's just been all about really getting that information from all these places.
Sure. And so for those who don't know, what is an accelerator program?
So an accelerator program is usually, I don't know, it's like maybe like a short period of time, or I don't know, depending on how long they want to put it for, where like professionals, experts kind of put you in a group situation with loads of other founders and entrepreneur to help you achieve like your business goals. So that they could also possibly give you funding. Sometimes they give you funding, and which is probably how I've gotten some of my funding. They give you access to the network. So it could be investors, it could be experts in your field. They give you like days where they teach you about, how to really grow your business, what to look at, like the basics of really starting from scratch and really nailing down your messaging, your MVP, really understanding like if your business is actually viable to go out into the market or to even grow in the market. So it's a kind of a period where you're just learning and meeting new people and talking to like other entrepreneurs who are part of the program. And yeah, I would say that's kind of just really understanding, like if your business is viable. That's why I think it's like really, I would say it's essential for anyone who wants to start a business.
Right. Okay. And could you do that was that alongside your full-time job? Was it on the weekends?
So I personally couldn't quit my job. I personally couldn't, just because I wasn't at that stage to have done that. There was plenty of people on my accelerator that weren't working. I'm not sure what they were doing, or maybe they just had fun. I'm not sure. But I know that I had to work. So I would have to take holiday off, if I need to be there. So it was a lot of, and that accelerator I had was for 3 months. And it was very interactive. And sometimes I would even have to wake up a lot earlier just to do some work and, get it done. So it was just a lot of catch up. You need to, I would say, carve up a lot of time in your diary, even if you're working full time. Like I'll spend my lunch, So yeah, I would say it's basically like another full-time job. Being an accelerator. So you need to be, but there's also ones I've been on where it's only been at night. And there's also ones I've been on that's only been in the morning, like really early morning. So it really depends like what accelerator you're going on. So I would definitely ask these questions before applying for the accelerator, like how like the timeline of the accelerator would look like for you, just to make sure that you can be aligned to meet those talks and networking events and anything like that they need from you.
Yeah, definitely. And can you recommend any accelerators? Do you want to say any accelerators that you went on that were obviously beneficial that can you remember?
Yeah, so I went on one last year called Levels. I think they called 2020 Change now, or Levels 2020 now. And they basically gave me a mentor, which was amazing. And I've never been on an accelerator where I've gotten like an actual like mentor to help me with my business and my mentor was amazing. And I still speak to my mentor today. I, see my mentor as even like a friend at this point, because they've helped me so much. And it's been just life-changing what value someone else can bring, when looking outside in from your business. They don't know your business well. So it's good to have like a very different overview of your business, but also getting some really helpful like next steps. And they also gave you like they did like classes like every like 2 weeks. So you would come into London, and that was like at night, like around like 5-6. So it was actually really great because I'm working full time, and I could just finish work and go afterwards to the accelerator and learn, and then kind of talk about what I can do with my mentor afterwards. And it was like a really good balance, and also great value. And then at the end, you can obviously, if you get to a point, you can pitch for to win some funding, which is I think 2,000, I'm not sure. But yeah, you can pitch for funding, so which is quite great at the end. So yeah, I would recommend that one. And for any like femtech, so if you're in the femtech, like menstrual, like hygiene, like for women, I would say Femtech Lab. That's the one I went on for 3 months and was amazing.
Okay. I've heard about
yeah, they're absolutely great. And so that's one I would highly recommend if you're a femtech business. Femtech Lab, they took a percentage. They took 5% of my business, and to me, it didn't matter that much because they were giving me 3 months of value, their network, and I had already seen other founders in the previous cohort really do well. Like really, they raised millions, and that's like amazing. Like the brands that that were in the cohort were Ancestors, and there's another company called Unfabled there who are just amazing. So they have really powerhouse femtech brands that did the cohort. So like I had such major belief in giving them 5% of my business. But I've not done that for any other accelerators at all. So I would say probably the only one to have done that.
Yeah. And how much did they give you?
No, that they did not give us any funding at the end, but you could, there was like, I think at the end, if you like, I think if they give it like awards and people do win funding, but I did not win any funding for that. But there are people, I think 3 people that won some funding, I think maybe like 5,000. Yeah, I would say that maybe that was the amount, but you can win funding at the end. I definitely did not win that because I was struggling. I'm not going to lie, because I was working full time and trying to do the cohort, and it was really challenging. So that's one thing I would say about doing these things. You kind of have to, it's either you really like learn from what the cohort is giving you, or your aim is to like win the money. Like, do you like, it's a really hard balance.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really hard when you're working full time, but yeah, it was good though. And I just did one maybe like last year called Founderland. And that's for like people of color. They're based in Berlin, so there was an hour difference. So when it was 9 o'clock, I was starting my sessions at 8 in the morning. But it was great because I could do that, then go to my full-time job. So I didn't feel like he was compromising anything. And that was great.
Berlin, they were accepting people from another country.
Oh yeah, they're all around I would say Europe, I think, I believe, which is great. And then at the end of it, I got to go to Berlin and pitch to investors. So that was my first pitch. And
you didn't have to pitch in German, did you?
No, I can't. But then they gave me my first grant for Beame.
So I'm so glad that you're still here and enjoying this episode of Hear the Hustle. If you're getting value from it, please do like and subscribe, because then that helps me make more content like this and speak to more inspiring founders to hear their stories about how they fund their businesses, sometimes, most of the time, from nothing. So like, subscribe. And if it's not for you, then I'm sure some people, you can forward it to someone and it might help them.
That's how I created my first formulation with that funding they gave me.
How much was that?
That was €2,000. And I think that maybe when you change that, it's like £1,600. But yeah, that's basically my formula money. So yeah, it gave me like a really good starting point, just to get started.
Yeah.
Then I also won a grant that was, I think, £11,000 from UN Limited. They're like an organization that helps like social impact entrepreneurs, and that was for Bloodbox. So I recommend anyone who has like a social impact business to apply for their grants. They've got like one for like 5,000. They've got one exceeding that as well. They've also got several different like grants as well. So I recommend if you have
Sorry, when you say UN Limited, do you mean the United Nations or?
No. Okay. I think not the United. I can't. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it properly. It's UN Ltd. I think that is UN Limited. Yeah, okay. It's not the It's not the United Nations. Yeah. But I'll send you the link. But it's not the United Nations. They are based in the UK. Yeah. No. It's only for like social impact founders. But yeah, they're UK based.
For the combined funding that you've raised for Bloodbox and for Beame, is it 50K total?
Yeah. So I guess because I didn't go ahead with the funding for Bloodbox for the investment. I don't really count that, but I mostly focus on the 20,000 I got for grant funding for Bloodbox and Beame. I would say that's kind of like my total altogether.
Yeah, but that's still a lot of money, and that's really good that you've been able to raise that.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I know you said that for Femtech Labs, they won 5%, but apart from that, the rest of the money has been sort of free money, I guess. So that is really good. And so,
massively.